What's good, guys? Watching, man, and in their morning dive videos, we're having some espresso that sucks. Why does it suck? Because I screwed up. And where I screwed up is in the calibration of the grinder. And this little glass of espresso extracted in 45 seconds or something like that? And that's crazy. Or maybe it was 47 seconds. Anyway, it was 18 seconds longer than it should have, which would have made it 47 seconds, because this particular bean likes 28 seconds of extraction. And here we go. I'm really angry. But I'm drinking it anyway, because just out of respect to the person that roasted the beans, the farmer that grew the beans, and made that little cherry pit into the coffee bean that they put so much effort into. And I'm cool with that. So I'm drinking it anyway, and woohoo, I need a chaser. Woo! Lord God Almighty. Anyway, let's get to what we're really talking about, which is the Zulu strap. The Zulu strap is nothing. Is just a simple Cordura type strap. Of course, this one has 2 rings on it. People try to figure out sometimes what these 2 rings exactly are for, and I'll show you here in a second. It's not just putting your strap through, okay, folks. There's actually a mechanical locking device in them. If you how you buy them is you buy them by length, you buy them by color, which is probably what most people are interested in, and you buy them by width. They come in, of course, probably 24, 22, 20, 18, probably 16 millimeters. My daughter wears one that's 16 millimeters, and it was kind of expensive. I think it was on like $25, and I think the majority of these are around 16. But the 16 millimeter one, they're not selling as much as as they are the larger ones, so their margins are different on that particular product. But what are the advantages of it? One, it's adjustable for the expansion and contraction of your wrist when it swells, when you lose weight, when you're out on the doing something for long periods of time and you're not able to eat regularly, like you do when you're at home. And that weight just tends to come off of you, especially if you're dehydrated, you're malnourished, you're this, there, or the other, and it's just part of it. Another big advantage to it is it's very lightweight, it's very durable, it's easy to wash, it's easy to take care of, and you just simply install it on the watch by having the spring bars in place. And of course, this is a 22 millimeter watch from this is a watch from Maritech or Marathon or whatever the hell those people call themselves. And the reason I like it, and it's one of my favorite watches as a backup watch, is one, it's very easy to tell down to the very second what time it is. It has a timing feature on the outside, which are your click or movable bezel. Your click type movable bezel. That's probably 120 clicks from the way I just felt it. I have no earthly idea. The crown is not at the 3 o'clock position. It's been moved down, which is great because I wear my watch on my left hand and I'm left-handed, which means my watch moves around a lot. And because predominantly that's the way right-handed people are. But if your job is illusion and deception, that's one of the things that you look for. You start looking at people's shoes. You start looking at the belts they're wearing. You start looking at what hand their watch is on to basically come up with a psychological profile of that individual. And it can be done relatively quickly once you have a few years of practice. So anyway, one of my subscribers asked me what these tools were, and what they are, man, is this is of course a clamp for holding a watch. See, it holds it just like that. And then if you need to have additional hold, you can put it in a vise and grab it with the vise right there. And then this is both of these tools are from Mion. and it's not Burgoyne. I've heard people say all different kinds of things, but it's actually Bignon. And then you basically lock these teeth onto the keyways in the back and spin the back of the watch off. Now the reason you have to do that is, the reason I do it the majority of the time is when I have to time the watch, and I'm not going to get into all of that process. But here you have a nicely decorated Miyota movement. This is one of their higher grade Miyota movements. It's similar to the Swiss ETA 2824-2. Of course, we had a screwed in case back, which is why we had to use this tool. One thing, if you only use 2 pins of this tool and do not use the third, it actually makes this tool, which was developed back when watches were smaller sizes, it makes it more versatile with modern screw case watches, because the distance from here to here can be increased greater than the distance from here to here, and your limiting factor is here, and you can go to ones that are closer and this, there, or the other, but it's just easier for me. And then when I want to put the case back on, I just switch it over to the other side. And I'm sorry if the IQ points on this video are a little too high, but it's just the way it is. Of course, the decoration on that movement is actually really extraordinary. And I won't get into all of the specifications and types of decoration. But one thing to note is this has a metallic movement holder. A lot of them are plastic. Of course, it's harder to make a metal one than it is a plastic one. A plastic one, you just spit them out and you can buy them all day. That's one thing I really like about these Maritach watches. At least this one in particular. I also like that movement, that upgraded Miyota movement. I think it's a 20... shit, I don't know. Anyway, I can't tell you the specifications off the top of my head. At least not to this one. They're not mine. Not what I usually work with. And then sometimes I'll take it out of that holder and just put the back on it. Because I can feel the torque. And you don't really want to over torque that. And you can see I actually started at a different place and this, there, or the other, and da-da-da-da-da. Where it was and where it is not exactly the same, but it's torqued correctly. I'm not trying to kill it, man. Get it, dog! Get it! Woo! Anyway, these are the watches I really like. One bad thing about this watch is it does not have a date, but that's one thing that my backup watch does not have to have, because it's a backup watch and its primary function is time. Now, why do I carry a mechanical watch as a backup watch and not a digital watch as a backup watch? One, my backup watch typically stays in my bag. And I know when the sun comes up and the sun goes down. Or if I'm with somebody, they can tell me if my watch goes down or I break it, which happens every so often, unfortunately. Doing the dumbest shit. It's just funny. And I need another watch. They can just tell me what time it is. This watch is pretty accurate. Of course, mechanical watches keep time differently. Here, probably here, whatever. Which is why they have things like 5-position timing and all that other crap, and COSC certified chronometers. That they're chronometre, man. But it's just a really good watch, and for the money, $250, I think is what these things go for. It's just It's just awesome. One thing that a lot of people like about it, and I particularly am not that super fond of, is the sapphire crystal. Because sapphire is so hard. It's on about 9 on the Mohs scale. It's very easy to fracture. How they have dealt with it in this particular watch and how they've been dealing with it lately is the domed part of it gives it a little bit better impact resistance and also the thickness of it. So you make it thicker, you dome it, and it has a lot more impact resistance than the older ones that were flat. And that's just the way it is, man. What else can I say? That's about all, man. That's all she wrote, dude. It's guns, knives, and watches, and the Zulu strap. And of course, I guess the thing that most people are going to be interested in is you can buy it in whatever color. You can buy it in extra long, or you can buy it in just the standard length. I have an 8-inch wrist, and it fits me really well. And I need to put the damn thing on so that I can show you how that mechanical lock fit works. And you'll have to forgive me, I'm not doing this really well. But, you know, here we go, boys. So you put that thing on where it don't flop around, man, because it don't want to be floppity. Now, we're going to do what most people do, which is put it through those two, okay? And there we got it right there like that, boy. But what you really do is you take it and you flip it back through, and that's a mechanical lock there, okay? So it gets it out of your way. That makes it work for about anybody, and it just gives a little more security in that region. Like I think I said on the other video, or I basically demonstrated, if you lose one of your spring pins on this Zulu strap, of course the watch, which does happen, spring bar, sorry, which does happen, you won't lose your watch. It will just flop around, and it will tell you that you have a problem really quickly. But at that point in time, all you have to do is probably take it off, put it in your pocket, and then get you another spring bar. But at least you didn't lose the whole entire watch. So these Zulu straps actually have a tremendous amount of uses. They come in a vast array of colors, a vast array of sizes, and they're very economical. When you compare them to something of equal quality, you have to spend quite a bit more money to get into a metal bracelet or any type of metallic bracelet. And once you start getting into titanium and getting into some of that stuff, it starts going. Or my daughter, of course, wears a metal mesh bracelet on one of her watches, and that one is that one's a little pricey. But you know, it's a really good idea. You know, if you're ever out doing a bunch of stuff and you really rely on your watch and you have to tell time. As I said, it'd be nice if this had a date on it, but that's not the particular purpose for this watch. It's counting down seconds. So, have a good one. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and the Zulu strap, and I guess some of my watch theory, and some of the other crap. I don't actually know what all I discussed on this video. But, have a good one. And I'm going to chug my espresso. Woo! God. Yummy. Fuck, I gotta adjust my grinder. I'm out. Bye.